All right, you guys. So today we're going to get a look at the Jar Jar Binks 6-inch Black Series figure for the Phantom Menace. Very cool. Let's get a look at this figure. Now we're also going to get a look at two other figures here that I neglected to do videos on. So I kind of wanted to package these three figures together so I can get ready for my year-end review. So we can go through our top 10 figures for 2020. However, I am still waiting on a couple of figures that I would like to include with that particular review. Particularly, that's going to be the Grief Karga 6-inch figure, the Krill 6-inch figure, and the Moff Gideon 6-inch figure. And then also I have the Biker Scout from The Mandalorian, the deluxe set. So I will also be reviewing that figure sometime in the very near future as soon as I get the Krill character to review as well. I like to package those two figures together for a review, and then once I get those reviews done, then we can get our year-end review for 2020 and get a list of our top 10 figures for 2020, guys. So you can look out for that video sometime later this month, hopefully, if I get those figures in within the next week or so. So continuing on with our review here, we're going to get a look at our Jar Jar Binks. We're also going to get a look at the Gaming Greats Scout Trooper, and then we're also going to get a look at the Gaming Greats Electrostaff Purge Trooper as well, guys. So we're going to get a look at all three of these figures, and then of course we're going to get a quick look at all of the boxes. We're starting with Jar Jar Binks, so getting a look at the Jar Jar Binks figure. Unfortunately, I have a little ding on the upper corner there of my Jar Jar Binks packaging, which is unfortunate, but nonetheless we have our Black Series logo with our figure depicted in the window. We also have our Star Wars The Phantom Menace banner just underneath our figure, with Jar Jar Binks, our warning label, 4 and up, Hasbro logo. Very cool stuff there, guys. And then for our Gaming Greats, the Scout Trooper, we have our Black Series logo at the top of the box there, our Gaming Greats logo off to the side of that. We have the depiction of our Scout Trooper in the corner there, and then of course we have Scout Trooper, warning label, 4 and up, and then Star Wars Jedi The Fallen Order logo, and our Hasbro logo as well. And then for our Purge Trooper, we have the, again, Black Series logo, our Gaming Greats logo off to the side, our figure depicted in the window, a depiction of the figure off in the corner, our Electrostaff Purge Trooper, warning label, 4 and up, Jedi The Fallen Order logo, and Hasbro logo off to the side. And then on the side of each one of our respective boxes, starting with the Jar Jar Binks, because it is the newest of the three boxes that we have here. We have a very cool depiction of Jar Jar Binks, kind of looking off to the side there. Very cool. And then of course we have Jar Jar Binks there at the bottom. So very, very nice stuff. And it looks like we have a depiction of Naboo, I'm assuming, just behind Jar Jar Binks there. I'm not quite sure what civilization that is. Depicted just behind him. I'm only assuming it's Naboo because it is his home planet. And then for our other two boxes, we just have our Gaming Greats logo. For our Scout Trooper, we have the Carolina blue. And then for our Electrostaff Purge Trooper, we have the purplish color there with our Gaming Greats logo for each of our prospective Gaming Greats boxes. On the back of our boxes, starting with Jar Jar Binks, we have a cool depiction of Jar Jar Binks off to the side. And then of course we have a small blurb for Jar Jar Binks. And then for our Scout Trooper, same thing, illustration of the Scout Trooper on the older box with a small blurb of the Scout Trooper there as well. And then for the Electrostaff Purge Trooper, again, we have our illustration and the blurb for our Electrostaff Purge Trooper. So I'm going to forego reading the blurb for each one of these figures, but if you want to pause the video and read the blurb for each one of these guys, you can go ahead and do so. I'm not sure if it is legible on the video, but I did try to zoom in on there so you guys can get a good read of those. If you can, let me know in the comments if you are unable to read that with this particular view. And of course, in future videos, I will change that if I do decide to skip the reading of the blurb for each of our characters. For all of our boxes, you have your warning information on the bottom, Hasbro logo, and Disney logo for each of our respective boxes. For your Gaming Greats boxes, you still have the old style name of the character on the side of the box with the shading of the name behind it. So again, for your Scout Trooper, you have your Scout Trooper there in that Carolina blue with Scout Trooper shaded behind it. And then for your Electrostaff Purge Trooper, of course, again, you have your Purge Trooper shaded behind it with Electrostaff Purge Trooper. All right, guys, so we're going to pull each one of our figures out of their respective boxes, get a look at each one of our figures and all of the detail, the articulation, and the accessories. And then, of course, as always, we're going to put our figures in a very cool diorama. As you can see in the background, I've created a new background setting for my diorama and review videos. This is kind of a special item for me because it's something that I built from scratch. Using that new diorama piece that I create, we will put our figures in a diorama setting, guys, so stay tuned for that. All right, you guys, so we have our figures out of the box, and first impressions, very cool figures, all three out of the box. Of course, we've had several different biker scouts. This is a scout trooper, which is a bit different because he doesn't come with a bike and he comes with the Electrostaff, but very cool. I do see a couple of differences with that scout trooper versus the biker scout, and we will cover that once we get a look at that particular figure. And then of course we also have the Electrostaff Purge Trooper, a very awesome looking figure. From what I can tell, there are some very subtle differences between the Electrostaff Purge Trooper versus the regular Purge Trooper. And then of course the star of our show is going to be Jar Jar Binks here, who looks absolutely awesome, and I love the accessories that this particular figure comes with. And of course we'll cover that once we go over all of the articulation and accessories with this particular figure. But very good first impressions with these figures. So we're going to get a look at all three of these figures, starting with our Scout Trooper. Then we'll hit the Electrostaff Trooper, and then of course again the star of the show will be our Jar Jar Binks figure, and we'll get a look at him last here, guys. So let's get a look at our Scout Trooper. So getting guys a look at the Scout Trooper, very cool looking figure, and he's absolutely awesome. And it looks like he comes with a tank of some sort that's on the back, which I'm assuming must help charge or keep the Electrostaff charged for some reason. I can't imagine why he would have that apparatus on him. I did not complete the Fallen Order video game because I have issues with first-person games and them making me dizzy and nauseous. So I wasn't able to complete the game. So I'm not fully aware of all of the functions of this particular figure. But of course, as you can see, there are some great differences between him and your regular biker scout trooper, besides all of the other regular physical details with the armor. You have his Electrostaff here and the electrical effect that comes with it. And I really like the articulation with the figure. I'm not sure how I feel about the joints and how they appear, but it is all black, so it kind of blends in. So I guess it's not too bad, but it does allow for some very good articulation with your figure. So he is absolutely awesome. He does also come with this side pistol, which is holstered in the boot there. like a biker scout would normally have. And then again, the major difference there is the large tank here, which again I'm assuming is to help charge the Electrostaff. And it has a wire that goes from the tank and around the shoulder here, and it is attached to the arm there, guys. I don't know if you could see that, but it is attached to the arm there. So really cool stuff. So going over articulation with your Scout Trooper, he is going to give you a straight arm that goes out like so. Now, in order to get this full extension here, or he will extend with the this apparatus, which goes around the arm here. But in order for to demonstrate the articulation, I removed it because it does hamper the articulation. He won't give you that 360 spin with the arm with that apparatus on there. However, if you remove it, obviously he will give you that articulation. But again, it does go over the wrist and connects to the arm, and it does slide up and down the arm, so it will allow you to extend the arm like that while it's on, and you'll have a range of motion which will extend about that far up and down, but you won't be able to raise the arm past the shoulder with this apparatus connected to the arm. In order to get that type of articulation, obviously you have to remove it so he can raise his arm above his shoulders. But he's going to give you an elbow bend like so. You will get a fairly decent T-pose, not a full out T, but decent enough for this particular figure. But again, my issue are the joints here. Those points there just look a little awkward there, but I do like the articulation that it provides for you, but the unsightly joints are not too cool there. So you have a twist at the bicep. So there is a twist at the bicep. You also have a twist in the wrist. There is an up and down hinge in the wrist as well. So you have that up and down hinge there. For the other wrist, you have the same thing. It is an up and down hinge. In the leg area, he's going to kick out like so. He's going to give you a knee high that goes up about that far. He does have the double hinge knee, so you'll go back about that far. Kicks out to the side only about that far, not too far. The Scout Trooper's wide stance is going to be about that wide. There's a twist in the thigh. Also have a twist at the... It's not really at the knee. It's more like at the shin. You have a twist at the shin. And then in the foot area, he's gonna go down about that far. And he's gonna go up about that far. And then of course you have your ankle hinge there. So in the torso, you have a ball joint that I believe is an upper ball joint that allows you for some movement, but there's not a lot of movement. So he's only gonna go down about that far and then back about that far. And then your left to right is pretty tough as well because he has the vest on. So he can barely turn to the left there. And that's as far right as he's gonna get. So there's not a lot of left to right or up and down, just slight movements. It's really more in the hips where you're gonna get him to bend down. In the head area, he's gonna go down about that far, which is really good. He's gonna look up about that far, which is excellent. Your left to right, and your head, you have a little head nod there as well. So really cool stuff. Little quirks here and there with the articulation due to some of the chest wear, but not too bad. And then of course, with some of the joints, just the joints are a little unsightly, but nonetheless, still a very cool and awesome figure. And then again, for your weapons, you have your Electrostaff, which comes with the electrical effect. And then it also slides in and out So it slides down. You have your weapon in its closed position. And then when you want to raise it up, you just raise it up and it slides back out and extends when you're ready for battle. And then for our weapon, our side pistol, standard side pistol that comes with any of your biker scout or scout troopers, does fit right into the holster that is on the boot for the figure. So very standard weapon, just comes in a black, no additional paint apps. So next up, we're going to get a look at our Electrostaff Purge Trooper. Let's get a look at the Electrostaff Purge Trooper. So getting you guys a look at our Electrostaff Purge Trooper. Again, he is almost exactly the same as the Purge Trooper that we received about a year ago, maybe a little bit more. Again, there may be some subtle differences. I'm not sure if I recall this part on the back. Again, it's been a little while since I've taken a look at my Purge Trooper, but I believe there are just some very subtle differences between the two figures. Not really too many differences besides the Electrostaff itself, but very cool. You have your black pauldron on the figure as well. You have the dressing, the stripes on the leg and shoulder. I believe on the Purge Trooper, those stripes are red, where here they're white. But again, I'd have to check that because I'm not 100% sure. Again, it's been a little while since I've taken a look at that figure, but very cool and very awesome looking figure. So very cool looking figure. We're going to forego the articulation on this particular figure simply because we've already reviewed the Purge Trooper. This is just simply the same figure with the Electrostaff. Getting a look at the Electrostaff and the effects. It's not too bad. I wish the effects were a little bit better. They just kind of seem to be hanging on there. And then when you move them around, they kind of slide off. That one seems to be sticking on, but then it slides all over the place. It's not really a good fit on here. So I think they could have done a little bit better. So now we're going to take a look at Jar Jar Binks. So let's get a look at our Jar Jar figure. So getting you guys a look at our Jar Jar Binks figure. Very, very cool looking figure. I think he looks excellent, very true to the character in the films. And I love the weapons that he comes with. They didn't have to give us any weapons with this figure. However, I can't think of any other accessories they could have given us with this figure. But to give him the Gungan weapons in the 6-inch scale was a really, really nice idea, and makes this particular figure much more worth getting. Even if you're not a big fan of the figure, you definitely would like to have this guy sitting on your shelf with the weapons in hand. So that is really, really cool. So getting you a look at the figure itself without the accessories, and really nice paint job, and the texture to the skin is very cool. And then it even reflects an underside, a lighter underside. So you have this reddish skin texture that goes around on the head, around the neck. It covers the arms, obviously, and then onto the ears, which is really, really nice. So excellent, excellent job with the paint apps on this figure. Just looks really, really good, and again, very true to the character in the film. Very awesome. And then you have his feet, which consist of just 3 toes. But again, you have that reddish skin texture that goes over the feet and then reveals a lighter color for the bottom of the feet. So really cool consistency over the skin texture of this particular figure. Very nice. And then a look at the eyes. Very cool Sithy eyes there. So very, very nice stuff. So for your articulation, your Jar Jar Binks is going to give you a straight arm like so. It's going to give you an elbow bend that goes back about that far, which is really cool. He will do the 360 spin for you in the arm, so that's very good. He is going to give you a very, very good T-pose. Your twist in the arm is going to be at the elbow, so you have a twist at the elbow. You also have the twist in the wrist, and then you have a back and forth hinge in the wrist as well. Same for the other hand. You have a back and forth hinge. Very cool. The leg area, he kicks out very, very well. Do a really, really nice knee high. Also has the double hinge knee, which allows you to go back about that far. And Jar Jar kicks out to the side about that far. Your Jar Jar Binks wide stance is about that far. So very, very cool. Your twist is at the thigh. So you have a twist at the thigh. The ankle area, he's gonna go down about that far, up about that far. Very good. And of course you have your rocker in the ankle as well. In the torso, he's gonna go down about that far, back about that far. You have a really, really nice range in the torso and your left to right. In the head area, he's gonna go down about that far. He's gonna look up really, really far. That is really cool. And you have your left to right. Very cool. And your head nod. So that's really, really cool. And the articulation in the head is really interesting because you have articulation here, which gives you a very good range. Then you also have the articulation in the neck, in the ball joint or base of the neck, which just gives you that added articulation. So when he goes to look down, you can angle the head down, and then the neck gives you an additional movement for you to look down. So that is really, really good articulation there. You can even simulate that confused look that Jar Jar always gives you. So you can do some really, really cool poses with your Jar Jar with the articulation in the neck and head area. Very, very good stuff there, guys. Your Jar Jar Binks comes with several different accessories. As you saw earlier, you have the spear and your shield, which is really, really nice. But then you also have this weapon right here. So this weapon here, and I don't know the name of it, but you would place this ammunition here, and I don't know the name of the ammunition, but as you guys remember from the Phantom Menace, it's kind of like a ball. It's very hard to explain, but you would place it onto this cylinder right here and throw it, and the ball would detach and hit the battle droid, causing it to short out, actually. So again, I apologize. I don't know the actual name of the weapon, and I'm not fully versed on the function. I just know that you do place that ball on there, toss it, and it will cause a battle droid to short out and stop working. So very cool and very awesome that they included all three of these weapons as accessories for your Jar Jar Binks figure. So I think that is excellent, excellent stuff. And then of course here is your Jar Jar Binks with the weapon in hand. And again, you would simply use it in a throwing motion, releasing that ball at your target. And again, it seems to be most effective against droids, where you would hit the droid with it and it would short the droid out. So very, very cool weapon. And again, very nice additional accessory to go with your Jar Jar Binks figure. Very, very cool stuff. Right, you guys, so now we are going to get into the diorama portion of our review here today, guys. So we're going to get our figures in a very cool diorama. Again, I am presenting my brand new 6-inch diorama background, which you can see as my centerpiece way in the back there. It is a 2-bedroom or 2-room dwelling with a upstairs and downstairs, 2 separate units actually. And you have the staircase there. The staircase is made up to look like a red clay texture. And then of course you have the doorways, the windows. It does have 2 full rooms in there where you can place your figures inside the rooms. Just needed a different look for my dioramas and my reviews. So I took the liberty of constructing this new background piece, and I'm very, very proud of it. It only took me about 24 hours, about a day, one day to complete it, paint it, and I'm very proud of that, how it came out. right, you guys, so there you have your Jar Jar Binks, your Scout Trooper, and your Electrostaff Purge Trooper in the Black Series 6-inch line. Very cool figures, all three figures. I do like them all. I have just a few nitpicks with the Scout Trooper and the Electrostaff Purge Trooper. In regards to the Scout Trooper and the joints are just a bit unsightly, not quite what I desire for the look of the figure, but in regards to the articulation, I do like what they provide in regards to the articulation. And then for our Electrostaff Purge Trooper, in regards to the effects for the Electrostaff, they don't seem to fit quite tight enough on the staff. They're very loose. They fall off once you move the staff around. You can adjust them to make them fit a bit tighter, but eventually they will come loose. The only alternative would be to kind of glue them in place, which I don't know if that's something that you would really want to do. So those two aspects for those two particular figures were a bit disappointing. In regards to our Jar Jar Binks character, I absolutely love this figure. He is very, very cool. I love the accessories that it comes with. I love the articulation with this particular figure. I have no particular gripes whatsoever with this particular figure. I can't think of a single thing that was disappointing. You get weapons with this figure. You have great articulation. You have a great design and features for this particular figure. So excellent figure, and definitely should have a place somewhere in the maybe in the top 15, top 20 for our Black Series year-end review. You can look forward to that video sometime at the end of the month once I've gotten all of the figures that I would like to include in that particular review, guys. So again, stay tuned for that video. But excellent figures. I love all three of them. Jar Jar is absolutely the best, and you definitely want to add this particular figure to your collection for the 6-inch line, guys. So let me know what your thoughts are in regards to Jar Jar Binks, the Scout Trooper, and the Electrostaff Purge Trooper. Have you picked up any of these figures? What do you think of Jar Jar? Do you like the weapons that he comes with? I think he is excellent, guys. Put those thoughts down below. And then also, let me know what your thoughts are in regards to my additional diorama piece that I added here to the collection. That would be the piece directly to the back with the two doorways there. I created it myself, and I'm very, very proud of that particular piece. And it has a lot of different options that are available for this particular piece. I can light the two rooms up if I wish to. If I want to furnish those rooms and have figures on the inside, I can do so. So again, I'm very proud of that piece, and I would like to know what your thoughts are on the look of it. Maybe there's something that I can do differently the next time I create something of this nature, guys. So I would appreciate any constructive criticism that you may have in regards to that piece. It will be much appreciated. So guys, I want to thank you very much for watching this review. I know it is a very lengthy review, but I needed to knock out all three of these figures here. And then of course we always have to put in a diorama with our reviews, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And of course, guys, from the Father to the Son to the Obi-Wan Force Ghost, may the Force be with you always.